This is a very special item of news that in
All right, and continuing the news now on nrpmediaja.com. We want to welcome back those of you who are on YouTube at nrpmediaja.com. We are also welcoming those of you who are listening to our newscast this evening on the Caribbean Vibes Radio over there in Massachusetts, in USA. We want to welcome those of you who are listening on Facebook Live at NRP Media JA, as well as on the original Blessupman. Thank you so much as we continuing the news right here on this our station. Meanwhile, as we continue to inform you about what took place this morning, opposition spokesperson on gender affairs and culture, Denise Daly, says the barbaric murders of young mother Kamisha Wright and her 4 children in Clarendon this morning have shocked the sensibilities of all well-thinking citizens of Jamaica. She says these unthinkable acts should serve as a wake-up call for Jamaica to find practical ways to end this epidemic of crime. Reacting to the brutal nature of the killings, the PNP's gender affairs spokesperson says, "We have lost respect for the sanctity of life." She said it takes an exceptionally evil heart to cut the throats of not just 1, but 4 young children and their mother. This is an unforgivable act, she says, which must be condemned and never repeated. Ms. Daly is calling on the authorities to leave no stones unturned until the person responsible for these senseless murders is brought to justice. Ms. Daly is bemoaning the frequency at which violence is perpetrating against women and children in Jamaica. According to her, she is recommitting the support of the opposition in doing their part to help in the fight against domestic violence and abuse, as according to her, the country cannot continue to end the promise of our young women and children. She, on behalf of the opposition, indicated that they wish to express their condolences to the families and friends mourning the loss of Kamisha Wright, Kimani Smith, Shamari Smith, Kefana Smith, and the 23-month-old Kishon Henry, who were taken away too soon. And Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, said that all resources necessary will be deployed to bring to justice the perpetrators involved in the killing of the 31-year-old Kamisha Wright and her 4 children in Chapelton this morning. In a statement from the office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Holness strongly condemned the heinous and senseless act of violence. He noted that the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, has started its investigations and appealed to persons with information to come forward. The police, the Minister of National Security, have assured him that they are going to be putting all the resources into ensuring that the perpetrator is caught and brought to justice. The Prime Minister expressed his deep sympathies to the family of the young Kamisha and her children, and to let them know that the entire nation is praying for them and surrounding them with love and support. Prime Minister Holness described the act as a new low in the level of violence in the society and urged all Jamaicans to turn away from violence as a means of resolving disputes and conflict. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang was slated to visit the community today, and the state agencies, including the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, have also been dispatched. Prime Minister Holness is in Kigali, Rwanda, for the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting from June 20 to 25. Member of Parliament for Clarendon North Central and Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Robert Morgan, who is part of the delegation, has activated his support mechanism to help the family and community members as well. And in related news, the Jamaica Teachers Association said that it is horrified at the reports of the gruesome killing of 3 school-age children, a toddler, and their mother from the community of Chapelton, Clarendon this morning. The association says it is also concerned about the growing levels of violence against the nation's children and women. The JTA says it believes that the perpetration of crime against women and children in our society is a cowardly act which must be repudiated. The JTA condemns the recent act of violence and expresses condolences to the family and stands resolute in its support for law and order and a return to civility in the nation. The JTA said that in a release said that it will provide whatever support it can to the family as well as the schools to which the children were attached. The JTA has called on Jamaicans to do their part in protecting women and children and not to be hesitant in sharing what they know to solve crime. You're listening to news right here on nrpmediaja.com. The time is now 7:42. In other news, a team of officers assigned to the Area 1 Narcotics Police Division arrested and charged a 36-year-old Sheena Headley, a banker of Goodwill St. James, with breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act on Monday, June 20. Reports are that about 6 p.m. on Wednesday, June 15, lawmen were in the area when a premises that was occupied by Headley was searched. During the operation, one Toyota Prado motor car owned by her was also searched, and cocaine weighing approximately 25 pounds was found inside the vehicle. She was charged following an interview session in the presence of her attorney. Headley was charged with the following offenses: possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, taking steps to export cocaine, trafficking cocaine, and conspiracy to export cocaine. The illicit drug has an estimated street value of $550,000 US. Headley is scheduled to appear before the St. James Parish Court on Wednesday, June 29. And detectives assigned to the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, CISOCA, arrested and charged a spiritual leader with rape, grievous sexual assault, and sexual touching of a child. The offenses were allegedly committed on Friday, May 6, during an exorcism exercise. The perpetrator has been identified as Joma Hepburn, 42, of Gordon Boulevard in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Reports are that the child was sent to Hepburn for him to perform an exorcism exercise during which he committed sexual acts, including rape. A report was subsequently made to the police and Hepburn arrested and charged. His court date is being finalized and investigation is ongoing. And we now turn our attention to the weather report, and we do it just like this. And the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica is reporting that there is a significant feature of a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across Jamaica over the next few days. In our 24-hour forecast tonight, becoming mainly fair. Tomorrow morning, expect partly cloudy conditions across eastern parishes. Tomorrow afternoon, expect isolated showers and thunderstorms across most parishes. In our 3-day forecast after tomorrow, that is Thursday through to Saturday, expect isolated afternoon showers across sections of most parishes on Thursday. Friday into Saturday, there'll be isolated afternoon showers mainly across eastern and central parishes. And that's the weather report supplied by the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica. Sports is next. A very pleasant evening to you, and welcome now once again to all those of you who are listening on nrpmediaja.com. We're into the sportscast in terms of our package for this evening. And we kick off on football. The Chapelton Maroons continued their rampage in the Jamaica Football Federation National Tier 2 competition after edging Wadada United 2-1 at Turner's Field in Chapelton, Clarendon on Saturday. This was the fifth straight win for the Chapelton, the Clarendon-based team, as they maintained their 2-point lead over Falkland FC, who outscored Baptist Alliance at Westpaw Park on Sunday in a game during which both teams had a man sent off in the second half. Meanwhile, Portlanders FC beat Treasure Beach beat Treasure Beach, while there were wins for Hopewell United and True Juice. At Westport Park, O'Brien Robinson scored the competition's first hat-trick as Falkland FC beat Baptist Alliance 5-2 for their fourth straight win, but ended the game with 9 players. Ronaldo McLeish, who opened the scoring for Falkland FC, was sent off in the 50th minute, getting 2 yellow cards inside a minute, while Michael McLeod was taken off late in the game after he went down following a clash of heads with another player after the St. James team had exhausted their full complement of substitutions. Baptist Alliance also finished the game 1 player short when second half substitute Duchesne Francis was sent off late in the game after lashing out at a Falkland FC player. Baptist Alliance had the better start and had Falkland FC on the back foot for the first 10 minutes, but found themselves down to 3-0 after 90 minutes as hosts blitzed them for 3 goals in 6 minutes. McLeish scored on Falkland FC's first real hat-trick, beating goalkeeper Andrew Brown in the 13th minute. Rodcliffe Dawkins doubled the score when he just beat the offside trap in the 16th minute and dribbled around Brown before Robinson headed home a third goal in the 19th minute. Robinson would add a fourth in the 37th minute, but after going down to 10 men early in the second, Baptist Alliance took advantage and pulled 1 goal back through Stephen Campbell, whose shot came off the base of the far left post and into the goal. Robinson completed his hat-trick in the 58th minute, converting from the penalty spot, but Baptist got a second, a well-struck free kick from Danny Man Anderson from just on the edge of the box, beating goalkeeper Leaon Bernard for sheer power. Portlanders FC jumped into third place above Treasure Beach after beating them 2-1, ending the St. Elizabeth team's 3-game winning run. Hopewell United ended their 3-game long skid with a 1-0 win over Limehall Academy at Draxhall, while True Juice ended Falmouth United 2-1 at Prison Oval. In national trials information now in the 110 hurdles, it's unlikely that the 110 meter hurdles at this weekend's J3's National Senior Championships will provide the kind of fireworks that it did last year. But nothing can be ruled out in what has become a fiercely contested event on the schedule. 4 men, Hansel Parchment and Omar McLeod, the last 2 Olympic champions and the non-Jamaicans so far this year, Olympic bronze medalists Ronald Levy and Rashid Broadbell, have all achieved the qualifying standards for the World Championships to be held at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon, set to start in about 3 weeks' time. There is, however, a list including some strong candidates such as former World Under-20 medalist Damian Thomas and Orlando Bennett, US-based collegians LeFrance Campbell and Philippa Lemonius, as well as the resurgent Michael O'Hara, who should make the event interesting. Last year, with the COVID-19 restrictions still in force, both sprint hurdles finals were held in hot and humid conditions on Sunday morning, while then reigning Olympic champion McLeod wilted by hitting the first hurdle and was out of contention. Hansel Parchment bloomed spectacularly as he won the event and went on to win the gold later in Tokyo. Parchment went on into last year's championships under a cloud of uncertainty as injuries had limited him to just 1 preparation meet, but has been in sparkling form so far this year, winning all 4 events he ran, which includes running under 13 seconds 3 times with a season's best 13.09 seconds. Levy, who has not competed since the World Indoors in March, could be in doubt for the trials, while McLeod skipped his final prep race last week in Oslo, citing physical and emotional issues, but is expected to be in the top form this weekend, seeking to atone atone for last year's mishap. And let's move on now to the 100 women's 100 meter event, whether it was intended or not. Saturday's 10.67 seconds run by defending world champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in the 100 meter in the Paris Diamond League meeting at Stade Charlie sent a message she has no intention of letting her national title go this coming weekend or at the World Championships next month at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. The women's sprint, particularly the 100 meter, promised to be the most exciting event at the 4-day national championships, which starts on Thursday and which will be used to select the Jamaican team for the World Championship at the Commonwealth Games set for Birmingham in August. With Fraser-Pryce holding a wild card as the defending champion, Jamaica will have 4 women in the 100 meters at the World Championships to be held between July 15 and 24. If all goes well and there are no major upsets between the first round and the semifinals, the women's 100 meter finals on Friday at 8:40 p.m. could feature 6 women who have already run sub 11 seconds this year, not to mention the possibility of others going under the barrier as well. Fraser-Pryce, 2-time Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Hera, Olympic bronze medalist Sherika Jackson, Kevona Davis, Natalia White, Brianna Williams, and Kemba Nelson have all gone under 11 seconds. Fraser-Pryce leads the pack with 10.67 seconds clockings in both her 100-meter races this season. But she is not obligated to take part in the event given she has the wild card as the defending champion. But conventional wisdom could dictate that just 2 100-meter races would not be sufficient preparation for the World Championships. Let's go down to the 100 men now. So we indicated to you earlier that the in the other events, but the 100 men Friday night's men's 100 meter final at the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association J3's National Championships at the National Stadium could see the dawn of a new era in Jamaican men's sprinting. Oblique Seville, 21, with a best of 9.86 seconds, and 20-year-old Akeem Blake, 9.95, are the only Jamaicans who have run under 10 seconds so far this season. Both seem poised to take over the mantle left behind by incomparable Usain Bolt, who ran his final race 5 years ago. Filling the gap left by the greatest 100-meter and 200-meter sprinter the world has ever seen was always going to be a very tall task. But neither Ewan Blake, who won in 2011 to become the youngest man to win the World Championships and gold medal in Daegu, South Korea, when Bolt was disqualified, nor Dexter Lee, the only man to win back-to-back World Under 20 100-meter gold, have stepped up. Bolt's bronze at the 2017 World Championships in London was the last global sprint medal won by a Jamaican man. To now put the burden on the shoulders of Seville and Blake could be premature, but there is no hiding the expectations and hopes of the Jamaican track and field fans, heading into the trials. Aside from that, Seville and Blake, there isn't much in Jamaican male sprinting to get excited about these days. But hope springs eternal that come to this weekend we will see others stepping up, even if only to get a decent sprint relay, a relay pool that can challenge for a medal. All eyes will be focused on the track. Ewan Blake is now the elder statesman and has run just 2 legal sub-10 second 100-meter races over the last 2 years. He also failed to get into the final at the Olympic Games last year. After that, the cupboard is far from stocked, and it might take a few more years before Jamaica has serious challenges for global medals in the men's 100 meters. We will see what we will see as we move forward. Let's give you some cricket news now. Opening batsman John Campbell completed his first Test half-century in the Caribbean as the West Indies completed a 7-wicket victory over Bangladesh on the 4th morning of the first Test in Antigua, and this took place on Sunday. And just let you know that it's now 4 minutes going up to the hour of 8 o'clock. Resuming at 49 for 3 and needing just 35 more runs at the start of the day in pursuit of a modest target of 84. Campbell dominated the scoring alongside vice-captain Jermaine Blackwood, 26 not out. He completed his third test half-century overall with a sweep of for 4 before sealing the result emphatically with a 6 over long off in the same over from part-time off spinner Najimal Hossain. Any slim Bangladesh hopes of creating further alarm in the West Indies camp never materialized as Seema Khalid Ahmed, who grabbed 3 early wickets late on the third day to reduce the home side to 9 for 3, proved as ineffective as the other bowlers used by captain Shakib Al-Hassan. Having batted carefully the previous evening to steady the innings, Campbell and Blackwood batted with complete freedom in knocking off the remaining runs of 7 overs in less than half an hour in an unbroken 79-run stand. We could tell you more, but we want to skip on down to give you some more results in terms of the scorecards now. In this particular game, Bangladesh first innings was 103. West Indies responding in their first innings with 265. Bangladesh second innings was 245 runs. West Indies second innings target 84 runs, overnight 49 for 3. And the persons who the wicket K. Brathwaite caught by wicketkeeper Nurul Hassan, bowled by Khaled Ahmed for 1. J. Campbell not out on 58, and our Rifa caught by wicketkeeper Nurul Hassan and was the bowler. Khaled Ahmed made 2, and Bonner was bowled by Khaled Ahmed for 0. J. Blackwood was not out on 26, and the extras was 1 run. All right, so that's as much as we've got for you this evening inside of our sports package. We do hope and trust that you found something quite interesting in our package this evening. And that completes our package of local news, the weather, and sports. And right as we are getting to the top of the hour, we're gonna be heading overseas now to give you some information as to what is taking place in the United States and other parts of the world, courtesy of the Voice of America. So let's now head overseas for that just about now. News from the international scene, courtesy of the VOA.
This is VOA News. Reporting via remote, I'm Richard Green. The U.S. State Department is confirming the death of a U.S. citizen in Ukraine. Steven Sibilski is believed to be only the second American to have been killed in the conflict there. The department said Tuesday that officials are in touch with his family to provide support and assistance. Meanwhile, Russia said Tuesday it did not know the location of 2 other Americans captured while fighting in eastern Ukraine. VOA's Jeff Custer has more.
2 former U.S. servicemen, 39-year-old Alexander Druki and 27-year-old Andy Wynn, both from Alabama, went missing earlier this month while fighting for Ukraine near Kharkiv. Russian state media confirmed Monday the 2 had been captured by Russian-backed forces. In comments to the media Tuesday, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the 2 captured men could be given the death penalty, as they were fighting in Ukraine as mercenaries and would not be covered by the Geneva Conventions. A senior State Department official responded to those comments, saying, "Obviously, we disagree vigorously and have made our position clear to the Russian government." In an interview with VOA's Russian service, U.S. Ambassador to Russia John Sullivan said they have delivered a very strong message to the Russian government that any Americans detained in Ukraine by Russia need to be treated consistently with the Geneva Conventions. He said the Kremlin spokesperson's comments indicate Russia does not understand its obligations under international law. Jeff Custer, VOA News, Washington.
The United States on Tuesday began implementing a new law that bans the import of goods from China's Xinjiang region, where Washington says Beijing is committing genocide. President Joe Biden signed the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act into law last December. The law directs customs officials to prevent goods made in Xinjiang from entering the U.S. unless importers can prove they are not made with forced labor. The U.S. government has accused China of forcibly incarcerating millions of minority Uyghurs and other Muslim groups in detention camps. This is VOA News. Tens of thousands of unionized rail employees walked off the job in Britain Tuesday. AP's Ed McDonough has the story.
It could mean a messy commute in London and across Britain.
It is disastrous.
Secretary of State for Transport Grant Shapps says the union has been planning this.
Back in April, they called the strike on the false pretense with their members of taking themselves off the pay freeze, which of course the whole of the public services had for the past couple of years. That pay freeze was coming to an end anyway. The strikes are completely unnecessary.
Union Secretary General Mick Lynch says the strike in Britain is an attempt to save jobs.
We're faced with thousands of job cuts. Despite what Grant Shapps says, there's been no guarantee that these redundancies won't be compulsory. We've seen 4,000 or 5,000 jobs already go from the railway. They've told our maintenance staff on Network Rail that their 3,000 jobs will go.
The strike is planned for tomorrow, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm Ed Donahue.
U.S. President Joe Biden visited a vaccination clinic Tuesday to celebrate the authorization of COVID-19 vaccines for kids under 5 years of age. Biden visited a vaccination clinic in Washington, D.C., where some of the first shots were given to young children in the last major age group who were ineligible to take the shots. The president made an urgent plea for parents, as well as Americans of all ages.
I encourage you to talk to the doctor after you make a plan to get your child vaccinated. For your children older than 5 years of age, for everyone else, get your shots, get your boosters.
Both the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recently authorized vaccines from Moderna and Pfizer for young children. Ecuador's armed forces say they will not allow ongoing protests against President Guillermo Lasso's economic policies to damage the country's democracy. Security forces and indigenous protesters clashed in the capital Quito on Tuesday afternoon, with some demonstrators throwing sticks. Security forces responded by firing tear gas and non-lethal projectiles, according to a witness interviewed by Reuters. Thousands of protesters have marched in Quito over the last week to demand a list of concessions from Lasso, including a fuel price cut, a halt to the expansion of oil production and mining, more time for farmers to pay debt, and budget increases for health care. Repeating our top story, Russia said Tuesday it did not know the location of 2 Americans captured while fighting in eastern Ukraine. A Kremlin spokesman did not rule out that the pair could face the death penalty. A White House official called the suggestion appalling. You can find more on this story and all the stories we're covering at voanews.com and download our app. Just search for VOA News. Reporting via remote, I'm Richard Green for...
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest VOA News right here on nrpmediaja.com. And of course, we are also live on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network over there in Massachusetts. We thank you so much, and you keep it locked on. As a matter of fact, just to let you know that if for any reason you can't get connected with us here at nrpmediaja.com, you can always get connected to the Caribbean Vibes, Caribbean with a K, Caribbean Vibes Radio over there in Massachusetts in the United States of America. We do have a link as well with Unity Radio, unityradio.com over there in New York City. And as soon as we can really make another link, we will let you know what's happening that side as well. So keep it locked right here on nrpmediaja.com, and I dare say on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network in Massachusetts. We are now at 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. And boy, I tell you, we're down now. We're going to do another hour. Right? And this is time where you're going to be calling through every request. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, wherever you are, then this is no time for you to make a request for your song. You can note them on Facebook, but I'd love to get some voice notes in. Here is the number. As a matter of fact, if you look online, you will see the number online. It's 336-9928. That's 336-9928. And let me get that for you. All right. And make sure that we are almost at ready. Right. 336-9928. That's the number that I wish you to call. And you'll be able to definitely make a link with us. Send me a WhatsApp or send me make a straight call to us here at NRP, and you can make your song request. So we're going to take your song requests between now and 8:15. All right, so send them in, roll them in, and let us have a chat. As a matter of fact, we are going to, while we're taking your song request via WhatsApp or online, we're going to be getting a link in with none other than Mr. Christie. I hope he's up and listening right now, and definitely will be linking up with me in just a moment, just to talk a little bit of sports. The fact that tonight should be Sports 365. All right. So if he's up, we're going to make a link with him shortly. But in the meantime and in between time, let's go over to Hopeton Willis and, bring the song on. The song is Almighty Father. And, when we talk about Almighty Father, it's almost like when you put your hand on your head and you say, Mighty God of Daniel, what's going on in the world? Yes? And we're going to be definitely bringing some great music for you for the next hour right here on this station. Good to see you. Good to have you. Good to know that you are logging on and logging in, right? And so stick and stay, we say, right here. Soon come.
Jesus Christ. Mankind don't have no heart, mankind don't have no love. All over the world, man, I say that them want to start the Bible be clear and make it straight. Now the time is near, so we must be. So make we buckle up and get prepared for the coming of the Almighty Father is near. Father, earth rightful ruler, only you can help us, Lord. Keep us from in a cry. Stop ball, make we join hands together for the Father, make we call. Don't tell me you not feel it, so you cannot ball. Make we take back Jamaica from the crime and violence. Take back Jamaica from the politicians. Make we put it in the hand of the Almighty. Make we jump up on we feet and trample Satan. Tell him man the one way I come the final and that's why this is Father, earth rightful ruler. Only you can help us.
Yeah, I'm telling you. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. It's a Tuesday evening. It's a wet Tuesday evening right across Jamaica, And I'm sure that it might be snowing elsewhere. We want to say good evening to none other than Monica Cowell. How you doing, Monica? Where in the world are you watching from?
first the kingdom of God. This is Kuku.
And the psalmist.
In the name of oh Jesus. You know your device from heaven say come along. You know your device from heaven say come along. You know your the Lord that call you sinner boy come along. Look how long Jesus a call you sinner girl come along. You know your Jesus a call you wicked man come along. You know your device from heaven crying out come along. Me say we calling sinner man. Me say we calling sinner girl. Oh, you backslider. Oh, you up your worker. Oh, you wicked man. Come out of your corner. And then you change your wicked way. And then you take a step from out of sin to grace. Oh, you up your worker. Oh, you know your device from heaven say come along. Come along, yeah. Come along, yeah. Come along,
Hey, Kukudu, calling all the unsaved. Come turn your life, make a brand new page. Hash away all things and come get a new chase. Game God today, tomorrow him not change. Yeah, calling all backslider. Time to reconcile, look back with the Father. Brush off yourself and move from the falter. And turn back the clay, cause I got him at the parter. Yeah, the psalmist and Kukudu. Send the word I got you every lane and avenue. Open at the bar, bishop and the one them bring gamble the card back and the domino. Alright, so come we go after God. We don't want a peace, we want all of God. So put me bad and repent to God. Come live, serve and praise the Lord.
device from heaven say come along. You know your device from heaven say come along. You know your the Lord that call you sinner boy come along. Look how long Jesus a call you sinner girl come along. You know your Jesus a call you wicked man come along. You know your device from heaven crying out come along. Me say we calling sinner man. Me say we calling sinner girl. Oh, you backslider. Oh, you up your worker. Oh, you wicked man. Come out of your corner. And then you change your wicked way. And then you take a step from out of sin to grace. Oh, you up your worker. Oh, you know your device from heaven say.
So, come out of your sinful life. Come out of the pain and the strife. Come out of your separation. Repent and serve up the Almighty One. Seek first the kingdom of God. Everything will go good, it will never be bad. Amazing grace, when we sing this song. Only Jesus Christ give us salvation.
You know your device, I call you sinner boy, come along. Hey. You know your device from heaven say, come along. You know your device from heaven crying out, come along. Hi, we call him sinner man, come along. So we call him backslider, come along. Oh, you are a worker, come along. Oh, you wicked man, come along. Oh, you wicked boy, come along. Come out of your corner, come along. I beg you change today, come along. I beg you come to him today, come along. We are cups in a girl, come along. We are cups in a boy.
I just want to take you back in time. Jen, are you ready? Oh, yes. I was in prison, also dark and cold. Just a lost sheep wandering from God's eternal fold. But the door swung open and Jesus spoke to me. Said I signed your pardon, you may now go free. Jesus signed my pardon, this I surely know. My place on Calvary, so I don't have to go. All my life I'll give him, for he gave his for me. When he signed my pardon, there on Calvary, so life is not worth living.
From the sound of Kukudu, we go to Robert and the then duo of Robert and Jenny Bailey.
Now I have a mansion, not a prison wall. Oh, Jesus signed my pardon. Yes, he paid it all. Jesus signed my pardon. This I surely know. Took my place on Calvary, so I don't have to go. All my life I give him, for so I don't have to go. All my life I'll give him, for he gave this for me. When he sent my pardon, there on Calvary. I want you to know that I'm satisfied in Jesus, and that there's no satisfaction without.
This is the Tuesday Evening Rock right here on NRPMediaJA.com.
No salvation.
Do you have a song request? If you have a song request, make it known by texting me by WhatsApp 876-336-9928. So once again, if you've got a song request, WhatsApp me right now to 876-336-9928.
No satisfaction without salvation. S-A-L-V-A-T-I-O-N. There is no satisfaction without salvation. S-A-L-V-A-T-I-O-N. Shout it out loud and clear. S-A-L-V-A-T-I-O-N. Shout it out loud and clear. S-A-L-V-A-T-I-O-N. Salvation sweet, sir. I'm going to the well to fill my cup. How about you? Hey! When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim, brim, brim. When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim, brim, brim. When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim, brim, brim. When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim, brim. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy in the salvation well. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy in the salvation well. When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim. When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim, brim, brim. When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim, brim, brim. When you go to the salvation well, fill your cup to the brim, brim. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy in the salvation well. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy in the salvation well. Fill it up, fill it up. Yes, sir. Fill it up, fill it up. Yes, sir. Fill it up, fill it up. Oh, yes. Fill your cup to the brim. Let the pastor fill it up. Let the deacon fill it up. Let the church fill it up. Fill your cup to the brim. Come mama, fill it up. Yes. Come daddy, fill it up. Yes. All the children fill it up. Yes. Hey, fill your cup to the brim. Let the rich fill it up. Yes. Let the poor fill it up. Yes. Everybody fill it up. Yes. Fill your cup to the brim.
with you. I agree with you, Elijah Praise. You have joined me. Yes, indeed. Right here. Yeah, man. Big tune by Grace Thrillers. 26 minutes after 8 o'clock. Here we are on a Tuesday evening in studio. Can you imagine? These kind of music, you can't play them once, you have to play them twice. Right here on nrpmediaja.com.
Echoes my name. Now and forever, I'll be at hand.
And as we speak, we've got somebody on the line out of 9 miles in Clarendon, Jamaica. Good evening to you. Welcome to NRP Media. How you doing?
Good evening, Mr. Nash.
Good to have you. Who's on my radio right now?
I just want to send condolences to the Johnson's family. Just wishing them and telling them just to cheer up. God is with them and He will take care of everything.
Indeed. God always take care.
Yes, He will.
All right, all right. And who's calling right now?
This is Sister Johnson from 9 Miles.
Okay, what's your relation to the family?
I'm a mother and I'm a wife.
Okay.
My husband is now deceased.
All right. Ah, I see. So condolences to you and the family of the Johnsons.
Thank you, Mr. Nash.
Right. You sound upbeat, and you see the thing about it is that you sound like a person who, as the Bible says, that if in this world we had hope,
yes,
we'd be like men most miserable.
Amen.
But because you know the hope that your husband had, and you know the hope that you have, and your hope is in Christ Jesus. Amen?
Amen.
Bless God. So you can stay strong and say, irrespective of what has happened, I'm going to stay strong because I must maintain my faith in God. I live on. I live on. Through eternity, I live on.
Eternity, I live on.
Amen. God bless you. Be strong and hold on, my sister. Joy will come in the morning.
Thank you.
God bless you. We'll talk in a while, all right?
Okay, sir.
All right, good.
God bless. Bye.
I'll be with you. I'll be with you. I'll be with you, and I'm with you. So let's go back to the phone line. We've got a gentleman who goes by EP. EP is not It's not a long play music. It's not a long play music. Let me get him onto the line. Hello, good evening to you, sir.
How are you doing, Mr. Nash?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored by the Most High God, man.
Wonderful, wonderful. Who is on my line right now? I know him as EP. And,
well,
I normally hear they talk about EP as a record. You're not a record, are you?
No, sir. No, sir. I go by the name Elijah Priest.
Welcome on the big show.
Thank you, sir. You're most welcome.
Right. Well. Tell you what. The fact that you're with me this evening, as the song says, I'll be with you, and you have come on board. You have been a great supporter from back in the days. Back in the days, when I was at Carlton Crescent in Kingston.
Yes, sir.
Right, and you're still with me now at NRP, National Religious Partnership Media and Radio. What a place to be.
Yes, sir.
You would have heard, Elijah. You would have heard about the incident in Chapelton, Clarendon today in Jamaica, right?
Yes, sir.
Ah, boy, what a thingy.
And to be honest, Mr. Nash, the PM say it's gruesome, and in most recent time is one of the most gruesome things that ever happened in Jamaica, so to speak. And someone sent it to me today on WhatsApp, and actually, when the person sent it, I was at work, and I placed the phone in my pocket, and I, went upstairs, and I took back the phone out of my pocket, and I opened it, and I actually cried for. I am not overdoing it. I actually cried for 5 minutes.
My God.
And I look up in the sky, and I. Yeah, and I
God, why?
I'm not a person who I cried, and I said, God, what next? What is really happening? I know, the world is in a crisis, so to speak, and so many things come to thought, but Mr. Nash, I think we as a people who believe in Jesus Christ, we need to do more on our knees. I said to myself that we need to go back to New City and get back to that place where we hear from God and make, God do what He has to do, because the battle is not ours. I think, I think Yolanda had sing that song, and we need to go back. We need to find back. Get back to the basic. You understand, and do what God really wants us to do. And I'm not gonna get into certain things because I don't want to point finger upon anybody, so to speak. I know that this is a program that it's worldwide, so to speak. People listen to this program, but the church, we are the church, so to speak, and we need to get back where we hear from God again, because it no look good.
No. Really no look good at all.
It no look good. And I think second, no, it no look good upon our nation, a nation that is, not even 3 million people, so to speak. It no look good, Mr. Nash. And I can see it in the Prime Minister's face. I can see that he felt, I can see that it hit him, because he was talking, and I know that I didn't see tears, but I know he was crying inside. And I'm not blaming the political pundits, so to speak, but I think everybody, it's a crisis where everybody have to come together and put the puzzle together for us to solve what is really happening.
Yes.
I think, from the political aspect, the judicial system, the army, the police, everybody, we have, and I think the persons who are supposed to be on top of this is the church. When I say the church, you know that it is church and state that really run any nation. So the church has to really get back to that place and identify who we are as the representatives of the kingdom of the Most High. You know, because the church play a major role in any society, whether it be Jamaica, whether it be the United States of America, whether it be Israel, you name it, from Australia to Zimbabwe, from A to Z, the church, have a major part to play.
Yes.
And I think my nation, which is Jamaica, because wherever I go, Jamaica will always be home, and I am coming back. If I die in Jerusalem, I mean, Israel is the land that God chosen. But should I be in Israel, should I die there, I don't want to bury in Israel. I want to bury in Jamaica, because Jamaica is where I am born. I am saying this to say that my nation is in crisis. The world is in crisis, but I have to talk about my nation, Mr. Nash. And as I said, we need to get back and we need to solve the puzzle as soon as possible. I don't know. I think 2 Chronicles 7 verse 14 told us what to do.
Yes.
He said, if my people are called by my name shall humble themselves, pray, turn from their wicked ways and seek my face, then God in heaven will forgive us our sins and heal our land. Jamaica need healing.
Yes, a whole lot of it.